So, and I'm aware of this, whereas I'm able to be a little bit more loving.
Him, of all people. I mean, he's got the worst of both traits. The worst of the men combined with the worst of the women rolled up into one human being, and that becomes the clavicle. Coach Greg, in today's video, clavicle is calling me out again. Bro, he has no chill. He simply can't take the L. It's just come to my attention that he's literally been kicked off of YouTube. His way of thinking, it's so bad that they couldn't allow him on the platform. He's gonna sit here and say that I'm a bad person, that I'm scamming people out of millions of dollars for selling a cookbook. When people buy something and they're happy with their purchase, it's not a scam, it's a deal. And so it's interesting for me to see all the copium. Greg gets no huzz. The gall of these people thinking that I cannot get a girl. Why? Because I'm a 5'6" manlet? No girl could ever want to be with a man who isn't 6 feet or more. I don't take advice from someone under 6 foot. I mean, I'm reading these comments. These are real comments. And so this is the problem with teenagers. They don't know any better. You only listen to a man who's 6'2", who needs surgeries, who is literally an idiot moron, and you're going to listen to them over me. This man is only 5'6". He is a beta. Imagine thinking that your height dictates whether you're an alpha, beta, sigma. Listen, your height, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
And just like I tell the bros, you're only as old as the average age of the women you're dating. Although I may be 5'6", I'm 6'5" when I'm sitting on my wallet, and trust me, the bitches, they don't care.
Greg, if you were better looking, maybe you would make an additional 20%, which might be marginal to a server, but to you, who's scamming people for millions of dollars on cookbooks, that could be quite significant.
Clearly, I'm not scamming people for millions of dollars on my cookbook, but obviously I know that if I were more attractive, my potential to make more money would be even greater. How many of you out there would buy my cookbook if I was 100 pounds overweight? Clearly, height matters, looks matters. I'm not debating that. But what I'm debating is that it's not okay to explain to children, teenagers, how to use illegal drugs and how to smash up their faces and do dangerous things in order to try to look better. There's a line that you should not cross, and you, sir, you've crossed it. The next comment says Greg is 5'5". Greg is a 1 out of 10. Guys, I'm 5'6". The famous rapper. Have you not heard of him?
Get ready in the house, gonna make him a believer, Jeff Nipper.
How often do we see beautiful girls go and get hot dog lips?
You know, you're advocating for suboptimal surgery that I literally agree with you.
And so what Clavicular is saying is that we're on the same page with some things. He's against the fillers and doing the soft tissue stuff. That we agree with. You don't agree with filler. Well, filler when abused, of course it's bad. But you're in favor of people using testosterone at the age of 14, which we all know is bad.
Your physique, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, you became a pro as a natural athlete and then you still decided to do steroids after. Why?
Here's the thing. He stated I turned pro without the steroids and decided to use them. That is not correct. When I was amateur, despite the fact that I was winning world championships, national titles, and so on, I still couldn't get my pro card. I competed in the non-tested anything goes competition and I got 5th. And so what I did was I decided to use performance enhancing drugs because I wanted an IFBB pro card. I wanted to chase my dreams. I had been training natural for over 20 years and I couldn't get any bigger. I was at my natural genetic limit. After 20 years of putting in the work, training harder than last time, I couldn't get any better. And so in my 30s, I decided to make a change. If Clavicular said, hey guys, I think you should all looks max. And by that he means to do certain things to improve your hair, to improve your skin quality, perhaps whiten your teeth, to tell you to go work out, to train, to eat, to dress a certain way. I would say, hey, great channel. He's improving people's looks maxing. He's giving him the tips. If he then said, you know what? If by the age of 30, you don't have the look that you want, perhaps your nose is too big, perhaps your teeth aren't straight, hey, maybe then you can get cosmetic surgery. I would say, this is a channel for adults teaching adult type things, and that's okay. What is wrong with him trying to give tips on improving adults? But his main audience are teenagers, 14 to 17. I believe 46% of his audience were in that age range. To tell people, perhaps encourage the use of performance-enhancing drugs at an early age like this, it's wrong. I don't know if it's called grooming, but it's certainly something to influence teenagers who are young and impressionable to do these types of things. It isn't right, and he shouldn't be doing it.
A lot of what we do is very similar. Just, you're either being a hypocrite or you don't really know anything about it.
And so here's the thing. Yes, I did use steroids. Those are not good. Remember, in Canada, it's legal, and so I wasn't breaking any laws. But of course, you make a good point. We're doing a lot of the same things. Using steroids is bad for your body. I did something that was bad for my body. I think it's bad. But if I were making a channel where I was saying, hey, everyone, I'm on steroids. I'm Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. I think you should all take steroids. Probably it's around the age of 16 so that you can get a head start. Why wait until you're 30 when you can get the largest arms in the world right now? Would you really want your kids to watch an influencer like that who encourages horrible things to the youth? And so the difference between myself and Clavicular, aside from the fact he's perhaps almost a foot taller, is that he encourages teenagers to do very dangerous things, and I do not approve.
Out of 100 people, I bet all of them are going to rate you as an 8, 9, or a 10.
Okay, but people don't know how to rate, do they, Greg?
Okay, fine. Get rid of the rating. The average girl is going to deem you as attractive. I don't care about the rating. You're either attractive or you're not. I've seen enough of your videos. I've read enough of the comments. Most people find you attractive. And so if you're already attractive, why do you need to go through dangerous surgeries which could ultimately make you less attractive? And remember, you're 19. You're very impulsive. I don't know if you've studied enough about the human brain, but when you're young, you're more likely to make decisions that you're going to regret. Those young women, for example, who impulsively get tattoos, do you really think they thought it through? 10 years later, they'll be thinking, I don't want that too. And so if you're not even old enough to make a proper decision on whether or not you should get a tattoo, what makes you think you should be implanting titanium implants into your face?
How am I in 99th percentile? That doesn't even make any sense.
I mean, I'm saying he's at the 99th percentile for looks. Let's say that I'm off. Let's say he's only at the 94th percentile. It's still better than most. And I did in fact see this. Somebody else rated him using the measurement bullshit and so on. And what they said was only 1 out of every 60 men has a face that's more harmonized than his. Consider this. Add to the fact he's 6'2", which we know looks improves when you're taller. Do you not think he's at the 99th percentile? His face is at perhaps 98.5%. Add to the fact he's at the 95th percentile for height. You want to go toe-to-toe with me on stats, Mr. Tism? I know numbers more than anyone. And so listen, you don't need limb lengthening surgery or facial implants in order to compete, even though it's true that women are hypergamous by nature.
If you've got a girl and someone's able to come along and take them, unless you're, a certain criteria that's out of this world, there's going to be no one to steal.
Try and steal Mepstagram. I welcome it. Try. Do you really think I'm concerned? Do you think I'm worried? Oh, I'm only 5'6". What if somebody comes along and he's 6'6"? It won't matter. If you have the right girl, she's not leaving you because somebody's taller or better looking or has more money.
Bro's making up random stuff.
Mepstagram being swooned off of her feet from some 6'2" Chad.
And the men who are not at
Should.
He should. Clavicular, you're so insecure. He should be worried that a taller, better looking man with more money is going to come along and steal her away. No. If he would, why would you be with her? If you think that somebody's going to take your woman away from you, or if you're a woman thinking some man's going to take you away from you, why even bother? What is the point of all of this? You're just going to live in fear every single day? Oh my goodness. What if that tall basketball player with all that money comes along? I don't know what to do with myself. Imagine living life like that.
Not all women are extremely sexually promiscuous.
Really? Really? Is that true?
Yes, it's not true. There's literally virgins out there, Clavicular. I don't know if it's a certain type of places you're hanging around, but not all women are literally SLUTS.
If we just looked at some data on, the amount of women who are virgins after the age of 21, I think you would be quite shocked, that it's only 1 in 5.
The fact you said 1 in 5 have their V card at 21, it literally proves my point. Not all women are promiscuous. 20% claviculum out of 1 million, that's 200,000. That is a lot.
If you're lucky, maybe 5-10% of women at the age of 21 remain good candidates for you to make as your long-term partner.
Let's go with all of that. Only 5% of women are virtuous enough, have kept themselves away from other men, haven't kissed another man, haven't done anything. And all of those want the top 20% of men. Are you and I not in the top 20%? I hate to break it to you, but we're in the top 2%, probably even higher. And so do you really think getting taller is necessary for you? Trust me, you can find that girl, and this is what I believe. By getting those implants, by getting those surgeries, you're actually reducing your SMV. I'm sure you know sexual market value. Because how many of those 5% women who are completely virtuous haven't given themselves to anyone? How many of them want to be standing next to their boyfriend putting on more makeup than they do in the morning? 6'6" is very, very tall. Most women on average prefer a man 8 inches taller than them. And so, for example, Mepstagram is 5'3". If I were 6'6", it'd be kind of tall. After a while, it's too much. And one thing I do know is most women don't want their man to be prettier than them and spend more time in the mirror looking at themselves than their girlfriends themselves. They don't want to talk to their boyfriend about what makeup they should use and trade mascara in the morning. That is not what they call a masculine man. Women are feminine by nature, mostly, perhaps 80%, perhaps even 90%. And men, 80 to 90% should be masculine. If you're putting makeup on, and you're doing all the things, you're curling the eyebrows, you're doing the did, you're darkening the skin, whatever that you're doing, it's kind of gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you're trying to get an ideal woman, she probably doesn't want a man who's kind of gay. Trust me, I know a lot of women who've dated gay men and they don't like it. Once they find out that they're sleeping with other men or that they're fantasizing with them, it's not something that's, say, giving them the, ooh, it's not something that's making them wet. It's giving them the ick.
If the surgery went wrong, if the surgery was botched, like what would happen? What's the worst case scenario?
Well, the worst case scenario is you could die.
Like the worst case scenario is you could die from steroid usage. What's the mortality rate of steroids versus double jobs?
I'm not defending steroid use. It's almost like bro is saying he thinks using steroids is good, but thinks that looks maxing is bad. Steroids should not be done by anyone unless it's doctor prescribed by your doctor and you need it. I abused steroids for 10 years. It's bad. I regret it. You see, when I was your age, I wasn't even for steroids. I was 100% against it. But when I got into my 30s, I decided, hey, I want to keep making gains. I want to be an IFBB pro. I did the steroids, and hopefully it doesn't dramatically shorten my life, but I won't know until I'm older. Greg, low-key trying to save you, though. And it's not just clavicular I'm trying to help. Frankly, I'm trying to help the people that he's influencing. You know, the thousands of teenagers that are going to watch his videos, think they're not good enough, and resort to his methods, taking steroids, taking drugs, bone smashing, and so on, in order to look better.
Need to feed my appearance into ChatGPT to know if somebody's good looking or not.
No, because all of these ratios are based on subconscious biases, Greg. It's just, this is science that you don't know about.
These sciences that I don't know about. What, like science-based lifting? The science bullshit? They read a study from what? Archaeological findings from bones from 5,000 years ago and decided this is attractive and this is not? You look at someone, they're either hot or they're not. Just because you're a 6.3 or a 4.4 or your mid ratio is off or your friggin' nasal folds are different doesn't mean you're not attractive. You could show the same photos to 100 different girls and they're all picking different men as being the most attractive.
Yeah, I care about my looks because I realize that women are not exactly great people. So, and I'm aware of this, whereas I'm able to be a little bit more loving.
Did he just say that he's more loving, that he's more realistic than women? Him, of all people? I mean, he's got the worst of both traits. The worst of the men combined with the worst of the women rolled up into one human being, and that becomes the clavicle.
You're arguably higher percentile physique right before you hopped on steroids than my looks level now. And yet you took just as drastic of a decision, that I am going through.
The difference is I used steroids in my 30s. You did them at 14. Do you not see a difference in that? And the reason for using steroids was not to get more girls. I wasn't thinking I need to looks max because women are hypergamous. I was thinking I want an IFBB Pro card and I want to get more jacked, and my entire life has been centered around building bigger muscles. And a lot of my dopamine came from improving in my sport. And that is why I did it.
Okay, can you go on vacation? Could you, go a week without your testosterone, Greg?
Yes. Could I go a week without my testosterone? Bro, I'm on 140 milligrams of test a week. Several years ago, I went 9 weeks with no testosterone. I lost 2 or 3 pounds. Bro's acting like I was blasting gear, competing as an IFBB Pro.
But to say a woman can never truly love a man unless he's good looking, this is not true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it 100% is true.
I can't believe he still thinks it. You don't have to be hot for a girl to fall in love with you. There are literally millions of people around the world who are not even high-tier normies. They're below that. I don't know what you call it. They're 3s. They're even 2s. And they have a woman that loves them. I'm telling you, it's possible. And not only possible, it happens every single day. Greg looks like a hairy nutsack, and so you can see, you can still have a woman fall in love with you even though you're ugly. Even though I look like a 5'6" bag of balls, a hairy nutsack, I still have a woman that's in love with me. And so, guys, there's hope for everyone. You don't have to be tall. 50 years old and 5'6", and yet I still got it. And so, do you really think you need to get these surgeries? And so remember, if you're trying to do normal things in looks maxing, like getting in better cardio, going to the gym and being fit, you can of course use Turk Builder Max, Turk Platinum, Geo2 Max, and you can buy what Clavicular thinks is a scam, which is my cookbook. It's available in both the hard copy and the PDF, and it's an actual book. You buy it and you get it and you use the recipes to make you better. And if you need to get enclomiphene, prescription testosterone, telmisartan, perhaps Ozempic, terzipatide, Cialis, the list goes on and on. Algo RX. Code Greg, 10% off. You can get your blood work done. The doctors prescribe pharmaceutical products right to your home. No gatekeeping at significantly lower than their rival competition. For example, Merrick Health. Go to Merrick Health, look at the prices, go to Algo RX, and do what you got to do. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. And until next time, I am out.